Epic rap battles of history. Pope Clement VII versus King Henry VIII. Begin.
Clement VII here, coming at you live. Time to squash a scandal, let's see if he survives. Henry VIII felt he could defy divine powers. Came to me so he could court his brother's widow with flowers. So I gave you an annulment and sent you to the altar. But 24 years later, you wanted someone younger. How's the history remembers you over me? I stood my ground, protecting Christianity. Look at what you did, you rebellious mortal. Splitting up the Christians only created turmoil. While you were busy finding a new wife for the throne, I was obeying God's commandments in the city of Rome. What good did it do you? Your only son still died, and because of my refusal, you call me a bad guy? You went through your wives faster than the plague was spread. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived, is the way it read.
You got it all wrong. You don't understand. Hey, you're the indecisive holy command. I'm the first successor to the Tudor dynasty. Means I require a male heir to secure my legacy. Yeah, I broke away from the oppressive papacy. You forbid me the right to protect my monarchy. Establish separation between Anglican and Catholic through legal powers of the English Parliament. Look at it. All these great official documents signed by my lords, restraining appeals so they only answer to my word. And declaring my supremacy before all the kingdom, there is parliament showing all of their wisdom, and I created religious problems. Really? All I did was stop your incompetence. You're the leader of the Christians, yet you abandoned the Vatican, and it's your fault considering Charles V attacked it on the fact that you did shady politics behind his back. You sided with the French against the Holy Empire, against the very Catholic emperor you held higher, and I might have left you all back in Rome. But I preserved the church back at home, maintaining clerical celibacy, confessions. Hey, even transcendental remains, even though no one can pronounce it.
How great you maintain the basic pillars of Christianity. Should I applaud you for doing your basic duty? And yeah, I might be a little wishy-washy, bouncing between temporal enemies, but I managed to raise myself from the very bottom. All this without staining my spotless reputation. When I finally left my office 11 years later, there were no critiques on my personal behavior. And I might have been stuck in St. Angelo the Tower, while the beautiful city of Rome Lutheran savages devour. But I was the one ahead of my time, reforming church aspects. Just ask my Franciscan brothers, the Capuchins and Recollects. I even encouraged holy crusades against the Turks, commissioned fine artists, makers of holy public works. What can you boast of for all of your efforts? To ask bluntly, you left me behind to secure stability for your country. But let's remember how you even changed the religion. It required so many heads to roll, 'cause you know no other solution. Anyone who stood against was not allowed to remain alive. Dissenters Thomas More and John Fisher did not thrive. Then when death came after you, everything turned Protestant. But your son against the Catholics couldn't stick with it. He followed you straight to the grave, which was muddy. Edward was succeeded by your first daughter, Mary the Bloody. Apparently she had made you her great study, considering how she followed your lead like a puppy. Because she was Catholic and literally had no chill, all the Protestants she sent to Execution Hill.
Knock, knock, who's there? Queen Elizabeth I, coming at you with another verse. First off, Henry VIII, or should I call you father? I was declared illegitimate after you beheaded my mother. Then later, Mary, your daughter, locked me in a tower. I was only 21, expected to die without power, but I became a better ruler than you ever were, thanks to an education I was given by a girl. Her name was Catherine Parr, your last queen, that she would be my savior. It wasn't foreseen. She made sure I was held above the standard. Can you fathom? And I was taught public speaking by Cambridge scholar Ascham.
Hold up, Lissy. This ain't about your mother. It wasn't my fault that she was a dirty adulterer. I made my own church. Yeah, you picked up where I left off. You barely made it. Edward IV was on top. You got it lucky, I admit. But you're the last choice. But I think you gave Catholics too big of a voice.
I did what you should have done. from the beginning, re-established the English church so there was no excluding. Yeah, unlike you, I did not resort to mass murder, and I still got everyone to follow my orders. The Elizabethan settlements made me governor of the church, not the head of a religious hierarchy, leaving Catholics unsmirched. They agreed to following Anglican, at least in public. Protestants and Catholics practice in peace. They love it. You established the Acts of Supremacy in 1534. I reestablished them in 59 and made it better than before. Got rid of the Catholic Mass to make room for the Protestants. Blurred the lines between the two, just settled for Anglican. And Pope Clement VII, you weren't any better. I was England's religious trendsetter. I made going to Sunday church mandatory. If you didn't show up, there was a small fee. You ruled over a corrupted institution. After your death, they supported revolution. Charles V tried to preserve German Catholicism, but the church was worried about its political systems. They feared the German emperors rising in power. This pulled their troops, forcing them to cower. In England I established religious policy, but since it was free for everyone, listen to me. The 39 Articles, yeah, all the English clergy swore allegiance to them. Address the religious problems in England. So I found a way to get the best of both worlds. Nobody's perfect, and I found the way to work it.